Hello everyone, this is Enzo Eigen of the Alliance for Loki, and this is the most forgettable champions in the game. And so these are champions that just no one thinks about or uses or talks about, and they just have been forgotten. And so a couple rules for this. The first is that it can't be a champion that's had some type of rework or newer addition. And so the obvious example is Captain America, the original, or even Captain America World War II. While they have like Captain America Infinity War, same with all the Iron Men, and same with the all the Miss Marvels and Captain Marvels. Since they do have someone at least who sort of replaced them, they have not been forgotten. They've just been upgraded and upgraded. And so here it is. And so let's take a look at this list and you can see what you think about it. So at number 12 we have, I can't remember who I put in these lists. And so 12 is Luke Cage. So Luke Cage is a really good champion, to be honest. He's bleed immune. He has a really interesting mechanic with indestructible, can actually shrug off SP3s, but you just don't hear about him, or no one uses him at all anymore. So he's been forgotten. After that, number 11, we have Cole Obsidian. So much hype when he came out. He was like the Corvus replacement. Everyone was just so thrilled by him. I remember my friend Cade just dying to get him because he's the new huge damage dealer, and somehow he never quite lived up to that hype. He's a good champion, does lots of damage, has some not very interesting mechanics, very straightforward, but boy, he can do a lot of damage, but nothing happens with him anymore. And then at number 10 we have Invisible Woman. So of the Fantastic Four, 3 of them are really used a lot. She's totally forgotten. You don't hear anything about her. She has a sort of a really strange mechanic to ramp her up that's very easy to lose, and so yeah, she just doesn't give you much utility or damage, and her phase is not nearly as good as other champions, and so forgotten. Number 9, we have Elektra, and so Elektra was always the sort of Black Widow light in the original game. She could shut down defensive ability accuracy, but now there's so many champions that do that much better than she does, and yeah, she just brings nothing else, and so totally forgotten. Number 8 is Juggernaut. He's probably my most difficult one to justify on this list because I didn't really want to include meme champions as well, like Groot or Deadpool X-Force, because they aren't forgotten. Everyone knows they're terrible champions. Juggernaut is a little bit the same, or used to be like the big meme. It'd be like, oh, I hope I don't pull Jugs, a la Brian Grant. And but now I feel like, yeah, people just don't talk about him, even in the meme category anymore. So forgotten. After that, we have Proxima Midnight. Again, another very good champion with maybe the biggest single damage output in the game. And you would think that would have her remembered, but yeah, it's really hard to get to it and just takes so much buildup and so complex. And if you make a mistake, you can lose it, or yeah, it's just really hard to have her reach those incredible damage potentials. So she's been forgotten because of that. Number 6, Phoenix. So Phoenix, interesting they're talking about that on Brian Grant's stream. Maybe not totally forgotten because her prestige actually is good enough that some people have ranked her for prestige, even at 6 stars. So again, maybe more controversial on this list. She was an amazing champion in the comics. I mean, she was just incredible. A lot of stories revolved around her. Really, she's like Magneto. She deserves a buff that would make her just equally as impressive. But as of now, no one thinks about her at all, and she is an absolute forgotten champion. Now to the 5 most forgotten champions. At number 5, Red Skull. A lot of, interesting ideas, the way he causes damage and power drains when people hit into his block. That's really cool, pretty unique. Makes him like a porcupine in a way. But other than that, yep, just doesn't have anything else. And again, not really used on defense much anymore, not really played at all. In fact, maybe the last time I saw him played, or the only time, was when Brian was doing his item list in Act 6 against Havoc, and now it's the only time I've seen a person actually play him. Number 4, we have Night Thrasher. So at one point, Night Thrasher had one of the coolest abilities in the game, and was he had on-demand anti-evade counter. Just right from the start with his medium attacks. Double medium, no one would evade it. And that was really cool. and some people liked him for that. And he had okay damage. You know, he's sort of a little bit of a strange in-game ramp up or in-fight ramp up you'd have to do to get it. But, you know, now much better champions have passed him by. Mole Man, for instance. There's a lot more true strike, true accuracy champions out there, too. So, again, I don't see anyone using him at all. Number 3 is Purgatory. So, a very new champion. And, boy, she was, like, forgotten the instant she came out. Another champion where you see actually lots of people pull her now because they're opening features. And, yeah, I mean, totally an afterthought. No one even considers using her, wants to use her, talks about using her. So we'll see. It's the big challenge of Buddy Lee, who just pulled her from his last opening, to see if he can actually play her and make her good. That will be the ultimate challenge. Number 2 is Yondu. So Yondu, I remember when he came out, like, Seaton was so hyped for him, and of course everyone in the community was, just because, yeah, it's so cool, and you know, his arrow, and there's really an interesting like piece of him as a champion. But yeah, aside from a heal block and, you know, maybe able to bleed through blocks, which was sort of unique then, but even then it wasn't that good. He was not very great when he came out, and he has continued only to plummet down people's memories. And so yeah, no one does anything with Yondu that I can tell. And number 1 is Beast. So Beast is just a Marvel icon, X-Men, really cool. You know, his kit seemed to have some promise when he first came out. I mean, the heal, the regen, sort of like Mystic Ghost Rider healed. He could do that, and yeah, it's sort of interesting at first, but it didn't all fit together well. His 2 modes, we had to do like sort of a little bit of prompts. He was one of the first champions that had sort of that prompt mechanic that you had to do certain actions to gain abilities in the fight. But they just weren't good enough or strong enough. And yeah, once again, no one has anything to do with him. I mean, he basically, when he came out, was almost as quickly as forgotten. And now, I mean, compared to all these other champions, I would say he's definitely the most forgotten. Like, no one calls for his buffs. No one talks about him much at all. And yeah, it's unfortunate. So he is my top most forgotten champion. With all these champions, I'm sure there's rank 3 6-stars of a couple. Like Purgatory, I would not be surprised. And certainly I've seen Invisible Woman's rank 3s. I would not be surprised, though, if most of these had no rank 3s in the game. It might be a bold statement, but maybe in the comments, I'd be interested to know if any of these are rank 3s. And so yeah, let me know what you think about the forgotten champions. Are there any on this list that you disagree with, or champions that I have forgotten because they are that forgettable? And yeah, I'm always intrigued by the comments people leave in these videos when we talk about champions. And so I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'm sure I'll see you again in another type of list video. So take care, everyone. Bye-bye.